welcome to the spectacular city of Dubai, a dazzling oasis in the heart of the Arabian Peninsula. From the iconic Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, to the pristine waterfront district of the Dubai Marina, and not forgetting the vibrant shopping in the city that never sleeps. But hidden inside the Dubai is Motor City, home to both the Dubai Autodrome and the Dubai Kartodrome, that this weekend will play host to round 4 of the Champions of the Future Academy program. The circuit that we're racing on this weekend, well, what can we say about it? Absolutely superb. The Dubai Kartodrome, opening in the year of 2004. It has played host to several international events, and this weekend it plays host to, like we were saying, Champions of the Future Academy program, round number 4. Event record set by Marcus Shilkunas in time qualifying, 54.003 in time qualifying yesterday. At time today, very closely beaten, but drivers struggling with track limits. The track itself, though, 1,204 metres in track length. It is 171 metres down the start-finish straight, 108 metres down the back straight. It widens from 7 to 8 metres. Elevation change of 5 metres as they go over and under the bridge here at the Dubai Kartodrome. It's certainly a fabulous layout to go racing, and turns in total as well. Well, there's 17 of them, and they span across the 1.2 kilometre race distance. 8 turns to the right, 9 to the left, and the 4 hairpins out there. With so many turns, it means so many overtaking opportunities. We see them down towards turn 1, 2, 3. We see them in towards turn 5, 6 and 7, 9, 12, 13 and 17. Basically all over the circuit, which means the racing has been close and fierce if drivers can keep the speeds in between the white lines out there as well. Top speed, drivers reaching 112 kilometers an hour in towards turn number 1, averaging a speed of 80 kilometers an hour around the 1.2 kilometer long circuit, meaning it is a fast and demanding circuit for all of our racers in the Mini 60, OKN Junior and OKN Senior categories, racing here this weekend in Dubai. Well, like we're saying, it's a very, very warm day, already up to 34 degrees, as myself, Anthony Jordan, will take you through the commentary action over the course of today's racing. We have got 3 qualifying heats coming up in the morning before we head into a short intermission, before we head into the qualifying heat 2 phase of the weekend. After that, we head into the lunch break, and then the finals coming up later on today. But OKN Junior qualifying Heat 1 is coming up next. And yesterday it was Toby Gail on pole position. Today, by, well, a stroke of luck, it's Toby Gail back on pole today. He had to do the hard work to get that pole time, but we caught up with him after time qualifying. Well, at the end of time qualifying for the OK Junior category, it's Toby Gail who starts this one on pole position, and the biggest talking point has been track limits. And Toby, you've come away with no track limit penalties, and you start this one on pole position. Superb time from yourself, and talk us, how are you feeling for the rest of the day ahead?
Yeah, just really excited for the rest of the day. Quite unfortunate about yesterday getting the penalty in Heat 2, leading for us to start the final on P4, but you know, we learned from our mistakes, and I'm looking to give it everything today.
Yeah, it's a good thing about the Academy program. It's effectively a double header. You get that second chance, and today you can learn from yesterday, like you were just saying. Let's talk about it, because again, very hot again today. Did you learn much from having to deal with the heat today that you can bring into today?
Yeah, the grip levels are really, really high, not what we expected. And all the times are getting quicker and quicker as the time goes by. So we're just adapting to it, really, just changing the kart setup and just getting it the best that we can get it.
Yeah. Well, today is going to be a brand new day for you. Let's hope it goes your way. Congratulations, well done. We'll see you on that front row.
Thank you.
Well, great to chat there to Toby Gail, but like we were saying, slightly gifted that pole position. Connor Clancy at the end of the session was at the top, but unfortunately a track limits penalty went to Connor Clancy. It does mean that he starts on the front row of the grid, just not on the pole side. Green flag waves, engines fire up, the karts make their way out to the circuit. Let's take you through that full starting lineup. It is Toby Gail on pole position. We will have Connor Clancy for company alongside Oscar Gallin and Leonidas Peruzzi go from row number 2. Final winner from yesterday, Maxim Bobajov starts this one on the 3rd row of the grid. He'll have championship leader James Anagnostiadis starting alongside Kasper Reipold, and Xavier Dudkowski go from row 4. They'll have Mateusz Witwer and William Marshall on row 5. Front row starter yesterday, Mitash Jain starts on row 6 this time today. We'll have Veer Chopra for company alongside. They'll have Nicholas Stanley and Ella Häkkinen rounding out row number 7. Didier Krieft and Angelina Simmons, they go from row number 8. They'll have Victoria Farfus and Dinia Islamov on row 9. Axel Nocom and Vanessa Shilkane go from row 10. They'll have Zachariah Dole and Flavio Carrier on row 11. Egon Prodotti and Emilia Vishamirska on row 12. They'll have Sanjana Dandu and Viri Jurland on row 13. Sujana Dandu and Marcel Cabela round out row number 14. They'll have Anian Singh and Karine Kaur on row 15. Enna Pizzuto, I believe, will be not on that grid, the same as Isaac Say. Both drivers not taking part in time qualifying, and both of them not clocking up on my screen here. So only the 30 drivers racing in this one as they head out onto the track. It's again another beautiful day here in the United Arab Emirates at the Dubai Kartodrome here. The circuit looking absolutely fabulous here. David Bright and the full team here at the Dubai Kartodrome doing a brilliant job of getting the track prepared for this weekend here for the Champions of the Future Academy program. Round 4, the first round of the Middle East phase of the championship. We already had the 3 rounds in Europe, heading to tracks in Italy with Cremona, Franciacorta, and of course Valencia in Spain as well. There a look at some of the marshals. They had a group photo this morning. Fabulous to see the camaraderie between the marshalling team here at the Dubai Kartodrome. They've done an absolutely fantastic job of keeping all the drivers and the track nice, clear and safe. Here we go then, into the tram lines. First time today, the sun is shining on the juniors and the lights go green. We are racing down in towards turn number 1. Gale gets a good getaway from the rest of the field. Anagnostiadis has managed to get himself on the inside line and holds on to P4. Connor Clancy has dropped down to 3rd place. As through has gone Oscar Gallin up into P2. Can everyone get around turn number 3, the pinch point of the track? They can. 1 or 2 carts going very slowly on the exit, but crucially everyone else has got away extremely well. Down the hill they go for the first time through the sweeping left-hander of turn 8, and one driver's not come through. It's Vera Jurland from Sweden in the number 22 out of this race, but she is walking away, but clearly very, very frustrated with what's happened there. So clearly not happy with the situation, especially first race of the second day of racing. Into the final sector they go then. They sweep through turns 14, 15, 16 and 17. Back onto the start-finish straight. It's Gale leading, and he's got a lead now of around 0.4 of a second from Oscar Gallin, who is holding off the likes of Connor Clancy. Now, Connor Clancy is quick around here. He showed that in time qualifying. Did get caught out with the track limits, though, so he does need to be careful in these qualifying heats. Anagnostiadis is still there, and drama in the background. 4 carts off the track. The 11 is one of them. Mateusz Witwer is one. I think Victoria Farfus is one of them as well. The 11 is that Leonidas Peruzzi. It is the driver who started on the 2nd row of the grid out of this race. It's Peruzzi, Witwer. No, it's Angelina Simmons, sorry. The Discover Your Drive initiative driver who's off the track there in the 23. And Didier Krieft has been caught out. So Peruzzi, Witwer, Simmons and Krieft are the 4 drivers involved, but thankfully they all look okay. Just think it was a 4-into-1 there, didn't go at turn number 2. So yellow flags will be out then as the marshals go to work at clearing the circuit. Field coming through. They've already done a brilliant job of getting the carts off the racing line there as well. Down the inside, Maxim Bobajov tries to force the move there to get past Reipold. Now Veer Chopra is on the rear bumper trying to attack here, Bobajov. Bobajov was the final winner yesterday, knows how to pedal around this circuit, but right now is sitting there in P6 and is losing touch of the drivers up ahead here. Gale's broken away pretty comfortably right now. Gallen's still there in 2nd place as well. Their frustration kicking in then for the drivers out of this race. Witwer, Peruzzi, Simmons, Krieft and Jurland, they are all sitting around that turn 1, 2, 3 area in sector 1 out of this race. Eyes though focusing back on this one. Championship leader Anagnostiadis there in P3 now has Connor Clancy just behind, so he's got that move done. Steps up now. The replay here, this might be that incident that we saw at number 3. Yes, it is, and just, okay, I think it was a breakdown for Leonidas Peruzzi. I think his kart broke down, and then unfortunately that caused a chain reaction behind, and then, well, everyone else getting caught out, and that, of course, being Didier Creed, Angelina Simmons, and Matthias Witwer. And Angelina Simmons under investigation as well at the end of that, so race far from over just yet. There is Angelina Simmons, now watching this one from the sidelines. As you can imagine, not happy at all. Eyes on this one though, back on the front runners, still very, very close. Gail still leading this way. Gap is 0.3 of a second. It is coming down though, the gap, but by milliseconds here. Oscar Gallen is closing in, but again, he has to be careful because Anagnostiadis, they're getting past Clancy, is closing in. Again, the championship leader here, wanting to make sure that he could end this weekend still as championship leader, because that gap has closed down just a little bit in the junior category. Anagnostiadis still leads it 402 championship points, but Kasper Reipold of Poland starting to close in now, is just 61 championship points behind. So again, needs to have good results today. 76 championship points available over the course of the weekend. 25 if you get maximum points in the qualifying heats phase, 50 points if you win the final, and of course that extra championship point if you get the fastest lap of the race as well. This moment, Gail yesterday, who dominated the qualifying heats, did receive that penalty in qualifying heat 2. That gave the win to Nicholas Stanley, the Spanish-American driver. Very quick this weekend, but at the moment, Stanley currently running in 11th place at the moment, so he's going to need to dig deep on this one, see if he can push his way forward in these qualifying heats. Back on this one, though. Gail and Gallen, line astern right now. Clancy back up into 3rd place. Now they've rechanged positions in the background there. And Bobajov is closing in once more on Anagnostiadis. He's got past Reipold. He's up into P5 now, so there have been changes up in the top 5. Right now, we keep an eye on this battle. Gail and Gallen is closing in. They've not managed to break away here. It's just a case of who breaks first out of these 3. And again, they need to be careful of these track limits. They do not want to run wide on any one of these corners. They don't want to take too much apex curb as well on any of these corners. We saw that yesterday in the senior category. Some drivers hitting the inside curb and it just rotating as they were climbing up the hill here through turns 9 and 10. But all good for the front 3 in this one, as they are now starting to break away from Anagnostiadis. Anagnostiadis right now looking like he's going to have to settle for P4 here if he can hold off Maxim Bobajov, but Bobajov is certainly piling on the pressure there in P4 as the race leaders once again come across the line. We go on to lap number 8 of 9 now, as in the second half of the season. There you can see the results of the second half of the season. Round 5 finished in P5 as Clancy sends it down the inside at turn number 2 and claims 2nd place. And Oscar Gallen, as soon as he was looking comfortable there in P2, now has to defend from the likes of everyone else. Anagnostiadis has managed to get himself through as well. Bobajov and Reipold now going wheel to wheel to try and get past, but they settle now and hold on to their position. So it's still Gail who leads the way then on this penultimate lap of the race. Last lap board will be out this time. And can Toby Gail hold on to this qualifying heat lead? It was a superb day yesterday for Gail. Didn't finish on the top step of the podium, like we say, finished that final in P5. A bit of a disastrous second half of the day after it started so well. Final lap board, and well, that's a big check over the shoulder there for Toby Gail. And he immediately goes defensive there. Connor Clancy is on the attack now, and he's got the switchback. He's got the inside line going down in towards turn 4, and he takes the lead of this race on the final lap as they go downhill, but Gail is still right there. We have seen overtakes down the hill. We're going to see another one again. Down the inside through turn number 8. Anagnostiadis is close in again. He's going to try and go for the attack here. Gail's in the lead. Clarty there in second place. Anagnostiadis in third has launched an attack on these top 3, and now the rest have closed in. Galen's there, Reipold, Bobrajov, Chopper is there as well. This is the battle for the lead, and right now it is so close, but it's line astern here through the chicane. It looks like this is going to go the way of Toby Gail. He digged deep for it, he worked hard for it, and he's going to get that first race win of the day. A superb qualifying heat there. Absolutely nail-biting stuff. 0.7 of a second covers the top 5, the top 6 out on track. Absolutely superb run there. And for Toby Gail, he adds another one to the tally. Pole position yesterday, pole position today. Qualifying heat win yesterday in heat 1, and exactly the same today. See if he can match that going into qualifying heat 2. It went wrong for him yesterday. Today is a new day though. The sunshine in Dubai. Connor Clarty then finishing in P2 ahead of James Anagnostiadis, Oscar Gallin from Kasper Reipold, Maxim Bobrajov from Veer Chopra, William Marshall from Ella Hakkinen, Nicholas Stanley from Dinia Islamov, Anian Singh from Zachariah Dole. Then the rest of the field. Egon Prodjotti having a brilliant race, finishing in P14. Axel Nokon finishing in P15. Anian Singh, we didn't say much about Anian. First appearance here in the category and 17 places gained in that race. Finishes just outside the top 10 in P12. Rest of the field, Axel Nokon finishing in 15th place. Xavier Dudkowski finishing in 16th place from Mitash Jain. Victoria Farfus from Vanessa Shilkanate, Sanjana Dandu from Marcel Capella, Amelia Veshemirska from Sujana Dandu, Flavia Carrier from Karin Kaur rounding out the 25 finishes in that race. And then the retirements, Linus Peruzzi, Matthias Wipfer, Angelina Simmons, Didier Kreeft and Vera Jurland. The 2 non-starters, Anna Pizzuto and Isaac Sabe. There on your screen, Toby Gail of Thailand. Perfect start, certainly had to work a little bit harder for that one today compared to yesterday. That was a much more challenging race for Toby Gail. Let's have a look at the highlights from that one. Initially, brilliant start for the field. There you can see Leonidas Peruzzi trying to get to the inside line, completely blocked by all the drivers who were on the odd side of the grid, just denying the chance of getting through. Rest of the field getting through turns 1 and 2 and 3 clearly, but keep an eye on the number 22 in the background. Vera Jurland, kart grinding to a halt. Not sure if it's mechanical in nature, but you can see her there just going very slowly as she enters onto the bridge section. And for her, it was the first retirement, and there you can see stricken kart on the bridge for Vera Jurland. Race going on though, Marshall's quick on the scene to clear the track, and then later a second incident, but this time at turn number 2, a breakdown for Leonidas Peruzzi, which caused a chain reaction behind, which caught out Matthias Wipfer, Angelina Simmons and Didier Kreeft, all caught out in their own incident there, which I think was just the concertina effect. And for so many of the drivers out of this race in the early stages, they would be the last of the retirements. Changes though happening thick and fast throughout the top runners here. Connor Clancy getting up into 3rd place. He would later close in, get on the attack there on Oscar Gallin and move up into P2. Then would later go on the attack for the race lead on Gail. Anagnostiadis fighting his way back through as well. Bobrajov trying to get involved as well in that fray. Does finish good, but finishes in P6 at the back of that train. Gallin was just able to carry the speed around the outside there, and that brought in the likes of Veer Chopra into the fray. This was the change of the lead on the final lap, down the inside in towards turn number 4 over the bridge. And Connor Clancy getting the race lead, but then Gail just finding that traction on the inside of turn number 8, sends it down the inside as they go under the bridge, reclaims that lead. It brings the whole pack together. It was a photo finish to the line, but Toby Gail can celebrate with another qualifying heat win to kickstart his Sunday for round 4 of the Academy program here in Dubai. Well, juniors will be out later on today. Stay tuned for that one because qualifying heat 1 was exciting. Qualifying heat 2 usually is a little bit more exciting. But the minis are coming up next. Mini 60s will be the next heading out onto the track. And again, for them, it's been a real challenge here. Nicolo Perico will be starting it on pole position. Certainly had to work hard for it, though, because he had the likes of Marc-Martin Lometz as well starting alongside on row number 1, battling their way out in time qualifying, setting times under 1 minute, running around in the 59-second markers. So very quick times in qualifying. But can they match that pace now in these qualifying heats? There is Nicolo Perico from Italy, starting it on pole position on the Parallel Opportunity chassis. Of course, everyone on the same equipment, but we caught up with Nicolo Perico after time qualifying. Here's what he had to say. Well, the end of time qualifying here on Sunday for Mini 60, and after a good day yesterday, it's an even better day today for Nicolo Perico. Congratulations, pole position in Mini 60. How are you feeling after that?
Thank you, and I think I'm feeling all good with the car and with the engine, but we need to do heats and concentrate.
Yeah, it's going to be a very busy day today. It's very hot. How are you dealing with the heat here in Dubai?
No good, no good, no good.
Are you hugging an air conditioner and drinking lots of water?
Yeah, so much.
Excellent. That's probably the best thing to do, but it's going to be a tough day today. Are you looking forward to it, though? Are you looking forward to today?
Yeah.
Yeah? Excellent. Good. Well, congratulations. Well done. We'll see you out there in the qualifying heats. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, great to chat there to Nicolo Perico. And like you're saying, in between these races, probably doing exactly what every other driver has been doing in between races, heading straight back into the race reception here at the Dubai Kartodrome and finding the closest air conditioning unit. Probably not the healthiest thing to do, going from quite high temperatures into fairly low temperatures, but if it makes them happy, I won't stop them. Marc-Martin Lometz, what a qualifying for Marc-Martin Lometz from Estonia. Was provisional pole for a good chunk of that qualifying session, just got pipped across the line. But these two drivers running around, both of them, sub 1 minute, running around in the 59 seconds. Incredibly quick times for both of them. The same for Albert Tam from Switzerland. Albert Tam has looked quick both yesterday and today, but has certainly had to dig deep in these races and not finished in a top 3 situation in the qualifying heats phase. In the final as well, just missed out on that as well, finishing down in P8. A reminder of the final yesterday. Well, yesterday, in fact, across the entire day, it was dominated by Nikita Jalilov. But this time around, he'll be starting on the 5th row of the grid, just inside the top 10, but running in P9. There is the 815 of Oscar Singh starting this on row number 2. This has been a really good start for Oscar Singh's day here from Australia. Has had a tough day yesterday, was running around in that mid-pack section, was dropping back a little bit, was battling away around the 12th row of the grid, and he finds himself today starting on the 2nd row of the grid. And that, again, is what we love about the Champions of the Future Academy program. Essentially, a double header. It's a brand new day today, so if you had a bad day yesterday, no drama. You can start again today and you can give it another go. And for so many drivers, that has been the perfect way to get through these weekends. You see the chopping and changing. You see drivers who were dominating yesterday now starting on the 5th row of the grid. You see drivers who were starting on the 12th row now starting on the 2nd row of the grid. So again, it's a really good change of grid that we see here in the Mini 60 category. Some for better for others, some for the worse, of course, for others as well. Moments away from starting this race, 30 seconds before Mini qualifying. Heat 1 heads out onto the circuit. But there's a look at what you can expect to see later on today. You've got the qualifying heats, the second round of them, coming up later on after a short lunch break. And then the finals coming up later on today. 3 o'clock local time, they kickstart with the juniors, minis, then seniors, and the podium's taking place at 5 o'clock today. It's exactly the same timetable essentially as yesterday, because it's exactly the same format as yesterday. So it should make it nice and easy for everyone to remember where their races are. Engines fire up, then drivers head out onto the circuit. Let's take you through that full starting lineup. It is Nicolo Perico for Italy on pole position. We'll have the Estonian of Mark-Martin Lometz on row number 1. Albert Tam and Oscar Singh go from row 2. They'll have Bruno Priam, championship leader, starting on row number 3. They'll have Benjamin Karajskovic on row number 3, joining alongside Aaron Mason and Ava Lawrence, who got her first podium yesterday in the final. Starts this one on the 4th row of the grid, and will have the final winner, Nikita Jaladov, for company beside and just behind on row number 5. Juan Garcia of Mexico rounds out the top 10 on row 5. They'll have Danik Rivera and Giovanni Desani Jr. on row 6. Francesco Lisignoli and Augustine Felagoni round out row number 7. Lorenzo Zucchetto and Achilles Peruzzi go from row 8. They'll have Sebastian Kurz and Theodore Constantinou on row 9. They'll have Atika Mir and Jan Godzielek, who round out the top 20 on row 10. Baptiste Augustine and Min Jae Kim go from row 11. They'll have Daniela Verba and Mannix Mason on row 12. Mathis Barjot and Lena Salamanca on row 13. Saif El Benadri and Guido Ebageni round out row number 14. They'll have Koda Singh and Suleiman Mucho on row 15. Davide Di Filippo and Daoud Sanfari round out the 32 kart field. Remember, there's essentially 2 classes in the Mini 60. You have the Mini 60 with everyone involved, and then you have the Mini 60 under 10s, and they dominate a fair chunk of this grid here, and 2 of them start on the front row of this grid. Perico and Loetz, they are both part of the under 10 category here, and have delivered some fantastic times in qualifying. Like you say, lock out that front row for the qualifying heats today. Reminder of yesterday, though, those heat wins both going to Nikita Jaladov. Danik Rivera and Nicolo Perico did stand 1-2, or 2-3 in qualifying heat 1. It was Achilles Peruzzi and Nicolo Perico in qualifying heat 2. But today, Perico has the advantage of starting 1 on the inside going in towards turn 1, and 2 on pole position versus starting on row 2 or 3 later on in the day yesterday. Once again, field is organising themselves nice and early on. We did see some confusion yesterday in one of the qualifying heats for the Mini 60 category, but they got themselves squared away second time of asking. Looks good at the front here as they approach the red line. There it is from this point on. If you're new to the world of karting, that line there means there is no overtaking permitted. You should be in 2x2 rolling start formation and lined up ready to go for this race. Now the front looks good, back's a little spread out there, but they're getting themselves organised quite nicely there, which is good to see as we head in towards the final corner. For the first time today then, Mini 60 qualifying heat 1. Is it green and racing? No, I don't think it is. I think it's a false start. It's not gone green on my screen, so it is a false start. They are going around again. Confirmation, it is indeed. You'll see the green flags with the yellow chevron out there, meaning a false start. And the drivers, once again, will head round. They get another lap to get temperature into the tyres, but you can imagine that's not going to take too long here. Let's say air temperature is still 34 degrees, very, very warm out there. Track temperature will be probably near on double that, around the 60-degree mark, you can imagine, for the tarmac. So even if the carts are stationary, most likely that they're going to be nice and warm, those tyres. Let's see what happens here in this race. Mini 60, qualifying heat 1. Over the results of yesterday, reminder of the championship standings in the Mini 60 category. Bruno Priam still leads that in the points. 438 is clear by just over 100 points from Albert Tam. And like I say, Albert Tam in this one, starting P3, has a good chance today to close up that gap a little bit more. Nicolo Perico currently 3rd in the championship standings with 281. He's looking to close that gap up a little bit more. He starts this one on pole position. Drivers then into the tram lines once again. Let's see, are we going racing this time? Yes, we are. We are green and racing down in towards turn number 1. It's again a brilliant start for the inside row, but where can Marc-Martin Lumetz just get that cut to the inside? It will have to settle for P3. It looks like Bruno Priama's got himself up into P4 there. He's had a good start, the same as Albert Tam. He's slotted into second place as he tries to hunt down now Nicolo Perico, who leads the way as they head downhill now in towards turn number 7 and turn 8. They will head down under the bridge for the first time. Very fast speeds here for the drivers into the braking zone as down the inside. Bruno Priam going for third place. Did he make it work? The answer, I think, is yes, as he appears. Yes, he did. He's up into third place. So he got that move done into the braking zone of turn number 9. Pushes his way forward now. So again, as the drivers enter into the final sector now through the chicane, it's a clean getaway then for the top 2. Perico and Albert Tam starting to break away. But there you can see Bruno Priam is in third place. All on his own, though. We'll have to be careful here. As under investigation is Benjamin Karajskovic. And he won't be too pleased to see that investigation board. And honestly, from my opinion, I'm not sure what that was for. I mean, in this early stage, one would suggest that it's most likely for a tramline infringement at the start of the race, possibly, that's being investigated. Or maybe track limits in the early stages of this race. But we'll have to wait and see about that. Eyes focused on the top 2, though. Perico leading, but Albert Tam is piling an almighty amount of pressure on that rear bumper of Nicolo Perico. All these drivers high up in the championship standings, but the championship leader is right there behind in P3 and is looking to try and close in here. But again, 8 wheels works better than 4, especially with the slipstream, and that gap is opening up now. It's up to around 9/10 of a second. Bruno Priam will have to think about working with Oscar Singh, who's there in P4. Had a brilliant start to the race for Oscar Singh, holding on to that P4 finish as Nikita Dalalov sets the fastest lap of the race, 101.026. Looking to close back in on this one. It's currently there in 7th place. He's up 2 places in this race. And we'll have to see what happens as it goes on, as we're on lap 3 of 7. Eyes looking further down in the field as we keep an eye on the lead battle here on your screens. Drivers who have made the biggest moves within the field. You've got Achilles Peruzzi up 5 places, currently in 11th place. You've got Atika Mir also up 5 places into P14. You've got Daniela Verber up 6 places into 17th. Alex Mason up 5 places into 19th place. Giulio Bageni as well, also having a very good run here. 7 places gained, the same as Davide Di Filippo. Looks like all drivers still running out on circuit. And still, that front battle, Perico and Albert Tam, still line astern right now. No change between these two as they head through turn number 7, as Peruzzi now sets the fastest lap of the race. It is Peruzzi sitting a little further down in the order right now, currently in 11th place, but still trying to fight his way through the field. I suspect this might be the scene that we see for the majority of this race here until that very last lap. Tam will work with Perico here to just try and open up what we like to call the battle buffer here down in towards turn 12. And of course, if they can open that up even more than 1.2 seconds, they'll have a nice chunk of time to go to work here. Here is that third place battle then, still being led by Bruno Priam. He's got Marc Lometz just behind still in P4. Oscar Singh now into P5. Dalalov's there in 6th place now. He's got Aaron Mason just for company. Van Gathiaste is there as well, close in that battle just behind. But now there's been a change. It looks like Lometz has got back up into 3rd place. So they have changed, and yes, fastest lap of the race. That will certainly help out getting that overtake done as well. Big send down the inside there. This is a little further back in the field as they cut through. I think that's Kodasing there on Davide Di Filippo. And Mathis Brajot as well getting involved in that battle also. So overtakes happening thick and fast here as Atika Mir goes purple in sector number 1. part of a huge train of UAE drivers, starting with Krajkovic, Rivera, Dazani, Peruzzi, Abel Lawrence, Atika Mir as well, as we see a replay here, just down the inside, 3 wide into that final chicane. Very, very brave moments there down the field, and there you again, you see these overtakes happening. Koda Singh trying to get involved. This is all the battles happening away. 22nd place downwards. Min Jae Kim leading that battle. Matis Brajo, Davide Di Filippo, Theodore Constantinu, Koda Singh and Jan Garzielek all in that battle at the moment. And there as well, the field looking strong all the way throughout here. As you were seeing there, the 844 of Min Jae Kim still leading that train. But battling away at that sharp end. Still watching then these top 2. No change between Perico and Tam. They stay line astern again. We expect to see this throughout a mini 60 race. Just working together, trying to extend that gap. It goes up now to 1.4 seconds, the gap between second and third place. Now let's see what Loretz can do here, if he can close that gap up. We go on to the final lap of this race. And well, Tam says to go to Perico, but Perico's not going to trust that at all. He's going to go defensive in towards turn number 2. This is what will allow Loretz to close in again. Tam communicates with Perico and says, no, don't defend, just keep going. But again, we've seen it time in and time out in karting. Drivers will try and throw the dummy with that. They will say, I'm not going to attack you. And then 2 corners later, they send it down the inside. So again, you have that trust issue. You don't know if you can trust the driver behind you to go for it. And Perico's going to go ultra defensive now in towards the final sector. They're going to look to the inside here. Lawrence has closed in to around 9/10 of a second. I don't think he's going to be close enough to really attack here right now. Tam, I think, is going to stick to his word of staying behind. Perico's done enough to hold on to this top spot position. And Nicolo Perico, for the first time this weekend, claims a qualifying heat win. And I think the first time this season, a qualifying heat win for Nicolo Perico. The Italian delivering a superb job there. Albert Tam finishing in second place ahead then of Mark Loretz. Oscar Singh finishing in P4, best result of the weekend. Bruno Priam holding on to the top 5. Nikita Janilov gaining 3 places, finishes in P6. And of Aaron Mason, Juan Garfiase and Benjamin Karajkovic finishing in P9. Danik Rivera rounding out the top 10. There is the results for Nicolo Perico. Confirmation, yes, he's not claimed a final win this season. Been on the podium multiple times, but yet to take a final win. Could today be a first for Nicolo Perico? We'll have to find out a little bit later on. There's the full results then. We've gone over the top 6. Aaron Mason from Juan Garfiase, Ben Karajkovic still there as well. Danik Rivera from Giovanni Dazani Jr. Peruzzi from Mir. Then it's Ligaznoli, Felagoni and Lawrence. Maddox Mason from Zucchetto. Sebastian Kurz, Guido Baghetti, Matis Brajo, Koda Singh, Min Jae Kim, Constantinu, Garzielek, Augustine from Di Filippo, Salamanca from Al Abadli, Daniela from Mucho. Zanfari rounds out the field as there on your screens, the 840 Nicolo Perico, pole position in time qualifying today, comes away with a qualifying heat win as well. Superb result then. He can relax a little bit now before his second qualifying heat coming up later on today. Make sure you stay tuned for that one. Heat number 2 for the minis, due to head out on circuit at 1 local time. Set your alarms if you're here in Dubai. Look at the highlights from this one. Pretty calm at the beginning stage. Everyone getting through the first 2 corners unscathed. There was a couple of investigation flags, one of them going out to someone who started very high up in the order. The 862 seeing one of those. Benjamin Karajkovic possibly for a tramline infringement, as drivers certainly weren't shy of going 3 wide into some of these corners. Certainly delivering some fantastic close racing all the way throughout the pack on this one. But all 32 karts that started the race do finish the race, which is good to see. Big moves again down the inside. The battles happening from 22nd downwards. We saw Min-jae Kim, Theodor Konstantinu, Gazielek, Baptiste Augustin all battling around in that area, fighting to gain positions, but making their way through. Koda Singh gaining 7 places. She finishing that race in P22 behind Matas Barjot and Guido Ebageni. Also gained 8 places and 4 places apiece, finishing in 20th, 21st as well. Race would continue at the front between these two, going on to the last lap of the race. You saw the hand gestures coming up from Tam saying, just keep going, don't defend. Perico did defend, but there he just learned, maybe trusting that Tam wasn't going to go for the move. Maybe tactics for later on today. If he trusted him there, he might over-trust him in that second qualifying heat. But it is Nicolo Perico taking the win ahead of Albert Tam and Mark Lometz running out 1, 2, 3 in Mini 60. They'll be back out later on today. We'll turn our attention now to the senior category, heading out onto the circuit. And again, for the seniors, it's been an almighty tough weekend for so many of them. But today in this one, it's going to be a little bit of a shake-up on that front row of the grid. Maximilian Rafalik starting it on pole position. This time we'll have championship leader Luna Flusha starting alongside, and just not able to take that pole position. But she was told today that, you know, you're leading the points. You can take it calm, you can take it cool, don't worry about anything. And she puts it on the front row. So clearly she's focused on just claiming those race wins throughout this season, and certainly delivering those. As you can see, no drivers really in sight there. There is Maximilian Rafalik just making his way to the kart. Race soon on. We've still got quite a few moments. There is Luna Flusha primed and ready here as she gets herself sorted out. But like we were saying, pole position today, Maximilian Rafalik, we caught up with him after a session. Here's what he had to say. Congratulations, well done, superb time for yourself there. How's the track feeling this morning?
This morning I felt it really grippy. I didn't have good practices, we didn't expect anything from this weekend, and it's a really big surprise for me to sit on the pole. Yesterday really good race, I finished second, and today I'm first in the qualifying. We've got really good pace.
Yeah. Today was a good day yesterday, and what have you taken from yesterday that you can bring into today?
I think the third sector, you can go through the limit more to the limit, and you can push more. For me, it's like I've never been to this track, and every lap I'm getting better. Yeah.
Well, let's make sure we keep an eye on those track limits, though, because that's been the main focal point this weekend, hasn't it? So many drivers have been caught out with that one. How difficult is it? Because those corners do come up very quick, don't they?
Now it's easier than practices because we've got these tires. But on the exit of the straight, it's really hard to stay in the limit.
Yeah. Well, let's hope you stay within those limits, and it's a good day today. Well, congratulations, well done. We'll see you on the front row.
Thanks.
Well, great to chat there to Maximilian Rafalik, starting this one on pole position. Like you say, much better day today for Maximilian Rafalik. And a reminder yesterday of the senior results. It was Markus Schilkunis who was dominating the course of the heats. Only struck out in that final, unfortunately. Dropping down and finishing outside the top 3 in P4. But he was pole position in time qualifying yesterday, was Schilkunis. Won qualifying heat 1 and qualifying heat 2. Luna Flusha finishing second in the first qualifying heat yesterday. She starts P2 in this one. She's looking to see if she can get a first win in the qualifying heats so far this weekend. But in terms of the championship, well, there you can see it on your screen, has dominated so far this season. Won both rounds in Cremona, won one of them in Valencia. Markus Schilkunis was the other, and then dominated in Franciacorta. But here in Dubai, P6 in that final. Well, P7 actually on my screen, but dropping down a little bit there, but still delivering good results. And like you say, she's got a commanding lead in the championship. She doesn't need to push hard here. But again, are you going to tell a racing driver not to go fast? I know I certainly won't, but there we go. We'll have to see how that goes over the course of today's racing. But it was Hugo Heron who won the final yesterday, ahead of Maximilian Rafalek, who starts as one on pole position, and Mohamed Menemni, who rounded out the top 3 on that podium. Now, Mohamed Menemni not getting the best qualifying today, starts as one of the 10th row of the grid in P19. Engines fire up then. Let's take you through that full starting lineup as the OKN seniors head out for their first qualifying heat of the day. It is Maximilian Rafalek and Luna Flusha on row number 1. They'll have Philippe Carras and Hugo Heron on row number 2. Jean Carras and Georges Nassar round out row 3. They'll have Sebastian Corpeng and Saramat Soy on row number 4. Sky Parker and Marcos Shilkunas round out row number 5 and round out the top 10. They'll have František Zielinski and Wojciech Woda on row number 6. Good to see that Wojciech Woda is on track. Suffered a humongous incident yesterday. Good to see that the pole is racing, and actually with a fairly decent position. Alessandro Biggie, Gianna Pascal out on row number 7. Cole Hewitson and Gazi Motlaka on row number 8. Yana Kapoor also caught out in that incident yesterday, back out in this session. Good to see Adam Sador alongside. Mohamed Menemni and Kasper Bonda on row 10. Elizabeth Kozlova and Ella Latama on row 11. Sofia Sanfari and Anastasia Gedikis rounding out row number 12. Louis Hartmann and Jabbar Al-Sabah round out row number 13. They'll have Chris Trevino and Charlotte Page running at the back of the field. And again, good to see Charlotte Page out on the circuit as well. The Australian also part of that rather large incident yesterday, and good to see that she is fighting fit and back out today, which is good to see. Drivers have ended their out lap. They are now on their formation lap as they get themselves primed, ready to go in this race. Like I say, championship though at the moment still looking very strong for Flusha. She doesn't need to worry too much here, but Hugo Heron's second. And he has 20 or so points between himself and Philippe Carras. Marcos Shilkunas still 4th in the championship. Gazi Motlaka still 5th. And same as Rafalek and Jean Carras. Zielinski and Woda. Georges Nassar rounding out the top 10 in the championship standings at this moment in time. So again, changes will be happening over the course of these next couple of races. Right now then, drivers lined up ready to go. It is Maximilian Rafalek and Luna Flusha on the front row for this one. Who will get that whole shot in towards turn number 1? We are green and racing, and it's a great getaway for both the front rows. But who's going to get the whole shot? It's going to be Rafalek. Flusha gets the switchback as Rafalek goes wide, and Luna Flusha takes the lead of the first qualifying heat of the day. Like we said before, she was told to take it steady, but she's now leading and has already opened up a gap in this early stage, heading down in towards turn 7 and through turn number 8 under the bridge. So Rafalek there just getting caught out with getting squeezed out wide there, just carrying a little bit too much speed through the top section, but everyone else just slotting through in formation now, down the 108-meter back straight in towards turn 12 for the first time. It's Flusha fastest out on track. She's purple sector 1 and 2 right now, looking very, very competitive as the rest of the field come through. Looks like that is Philippe Carras who's there into second place. It is, has got past the likes of Maximilian Rafalek. Hugo Heron is there in P4, ahead of Georges Nassar. But Gazi Motlaka, what a start it's been for the driver from Mozambique. He's there up 10 places and up into P6 as Rafalek changes for P2. Rafalek down the inside of Philippe Carras and moves up back into P2 now in this race, and is on the hunt now for Luna Flusha, who has opened up a 1.5 second lead from second place. Absolutely extraordinary, as we're only on the opening stage. Look at the gap there. You can see nearly the whole back straight there is the difference between first and second place. And the gap's only getting larger here. 1.6 seconds now, the gap. You can see it there on your screens with the fantastic work from the production crew there to bring you these graphics on your broadcast. So Flusha leads the way from Rafalek. Head on from Philippe Carras, George Nassar from Gazi Motlaka, Jean Carras from Sebastian Korpeng, Wojciech Woda and Franciszek Siedzielski rounding out the top 10 at the moment as Flusha continues to open up this gap, sets a new fastest lap of the race, 55.115, and opens up that lead gap now to 1.7 seconds in qualifying heat 1. She's yet to win a qualifying heat this weekend in Dubai. She was told she didn't need to worry about that, but she's certainly delivering on this one as well. So many drivers as well struggling with the conditions here. A lot of drivers suffering from blisters on the hand. You'll see it when they take the gloves off. You'll see quite a few of them with bandages underneath their hands. Just having to deal with the heat here. The hands getting sweaty. The force that goes through the steering wheel, the speed that they go through is just causing blisters on their hands here in Dubai. And it's certainly a very tough situation for the field. Here, though, Hugo Heron has got past into third place. He's got past Philippe Carras as well. So Heron, the final winner from yesterday, making him the third different final winner of the season so far in the senior category. Pushing his way forward now and up into P3 as Hamid Emni sets the fastest lap of the race. Currently running around in P12 at the moment. It's up 7 places right now in this race. Other drivers who have had good starts to their race. We've already mentioned Gazi Motlaka, who has battled away. As action changing here, though, we'll cut back to this as, well, Philippe Carras is trying to push his way through now this one as well. As he's back there into P3. Heron back down to 4th place. George Nassar is there as well. Gazi Motlaka just behind. They're battling away. I think Motlaka has got his way through. He has. And it looks like Jean Carras has fighted his way through as well. They've both got past George Nassar. So Motlaka in the 221 and Jean Carras in the 222 now. Line astern. They move up into P5 and 6 on track. So Motlaka now up 11 places. Hugo Heron is the next target. But there is a bit of a gap.
Martin, race control. Just keep an extra eye on the camera at post 7, please. The tyres have moved and there is a big possibility they can cut the track there.
Right there, okay, so action there, turn 7 out on track, so that's just down the hill going in towards turn number 8 as they go under the tunnel. Apparently the tyres there being moved, spotted by race control, so they'll be keeping a very close eye on that one to make sure drivers do not exceed track limits. Some drivers or some tyre walls here have been moved to regulation standards to the inside of the track just to prevent a driver going all 4 wheels off the circuit. This is turn number 6. This is turn 7, 8. So yeah, you can see how they've all got to be careful there on those apexes. They don't want to go all 4 off the track because, well, one attempt at that and a warning flag does come out, and that comes with an in-race 5-second time penalty. Flusha then, here on your screen, race leader on lap number 6, going on to lap 7. Started this race P2. Brilliant start, capitalized, learned from yesterday out of a lot of experience starting from the outside of row number 1 and row number 2. Battling around, trying to get that switch back in the early stages. Managing to hold on to that one. And now leading the way here, gap over 2 seconds there. Is Gazi Motlaka breaking away from the rest of the field, still up a big chunk of places here, 11 places. The same can be said for Mohamed Menemni. He's up 10 places now. He's inside the top 10. Adlan Array in 9th place. First time we see Mohamed in these races this weekend. Next first appearance in the championship. Came away with a podium yesterday as well in this first weekend here in the academy program. So local driver here in Dubai, and I'm sure we will see some good things later on in the season. Eyes on then as we cross over the start-finish line. We go on to lap number 8 of 12 here, and Flusha continues to open up that lead, now 2.2 seconds from Rafalik. 2 seconds further down the road as well sees Philippe Carras and Hugo Heron. So that has changed as well now. And eyes on this one. Heron going through as, oh dear, that's not gone well, and that's Cole Hewitson walking away from his kart. And that is the driver of the 255. walking away, and looks to be in a little bit of discomfort there with his wrist. So not sure what has happened there. If he's had an incident with another, or he's just had a moment out on track. But Cole Hewitson out of this race. He's the only driver who's tumbled down the order. He's down 13 places now in this race. Eyes fixated on this one here. Rafalik, Karas, head on in that order. Gazi Motlaka just behind this battle. Starting to close in. Now I think there's been more dramas out there. Marcus Shilkunas is tumbling down the order as well. What has happened to the pole sitter from yesterday? Well, there is another card. That's not Shilkunas, is it? The 242? It is Marcus Shilkunas. That is him. And, well, he's out of this one at the final corner on the circuit. He's going to get put to safety. He's had one attempt to get it restarted. There is another kart there. That is, I think, Cole Hewitson's kart. So maybe were they involved in an incident together? And there's more drama now. Elizaveta Kozlova is off the circuit. Well, there you can see there's tire marks covering the left-hand side number there, or the right-hand side number plate. So clearly there's been a moment out on circuit. As we cut back to this second-place battle now, it's closed up tremendously. Rafalik still at the front of this one. Philippe Karas there as they come into yellow flags, so no overtaking permitted here. You have to wait until they pass a green flag. And on our screens, I think they've passed that now. So Rafalik and Karas head on, still there, second, third, and fourth. Philippe Karas in the middle of this sandwich at the moment as well. Now they're going to go defensive as under the bridge there. Big moments from Rafalik. He went right to the inside there. He forced Karas and head on to go wide. Now Gazi Motlaka has closed in. This is perfect for Gazi Motlaka. He's gained 11 places in this race, and now he has a chance of finishing in second. But Jean Karas is getting involved in that battle, and he's got through past Gazi Motlaka. That's put him down now into P6. There's the gap for the lead. 4.1 seconds. Luna Flusha is now to 4.4. Is continuing to break away here. This is a carbon copy of what we saw from Flusha at the very start of the season in Cremona. Dominated the qualifying heat space. Clearly, something has gone her way today with setup-wise. And Flusha looking very, very strong here right now. Rafalik still there in second place. Philippe Karas. Hugo Heron still there as back down the inside. A huge moment there for Philippe Karas, just clipping the rear bumper of Rafalik and going two wheels in the air to try and get second place. That's brought Hugo Heron back into the fight. It's brought Jean Karas into the fight. Gazi Motlaka is there as well, and Mohamed Menemni is right there as well in P7. He is part of this train. Down the inside goes Gazi Motlaka on the final lap of the race. He manages to get through. He's going to lose out on it, though. Gets squeezed out to the tyre wall on the exit of turn number 3. Just holds on to it as Jean Karas goes wheel to wheel. They're 3 wide now on the exit of turn number 5. My goodness, how do they get through? And at the end of that one, Mohamed Menemni's got himself up into P5 now. 14 places gained for the driver from the United Arab Emirates, and he's there currently in P5. But at the front here, Luna Flusha completely uncontested. She was told to be calm and take it easy, but she's broken away by 5.2 seconds and claims her first win of the weekend here in Dubai. Luna Flusha of Spain dominates the first senior race on Sunday. Well, can she continue that momentum going into qualifying heat 2? One would suggest yes, after the performance she's had so far this season. Maximilian Rafalik finishes in P2 ahead of Philippe Karas. Hugo Heron finishing in P4 ahead of Mohamed Menemni. Then it's Jean Karas from Gazi Motlaka, George Nassar from Vodjak Voda, Sky Parker rounding out the top 10. And the rest of the field as well. They were clear by 10 seconds out on track at the end of that race. Very, very close. There's a look at the full results at the end of that one. Sebastian Korpeng finishes in P11 from Sejeleski. Diana Pascal finishing in 13th place from Alessandro Biggie. Adam Sador rounds out the top 15. 16th place downwards seen Sana Matsui, Casper Bonda, Safia Sanfari, Elalatama, Jamar Al-Sabah, Yana Kapoor from Louis Hartman, Prik Storvino from Charlotte Page, Anastasia Janasis, Izoleta Kozlova, the first of the retirements, and then it was Marcus Shilkunis and Cole Hewitson, the winner of all of the qualifying heats yesterday and the pole sitter yesterday, retiring and finishing in 27th place. Well, there is Luna Flusha. End of that one. Job well done. And she is looking very strong at this part of the day. And in the championship, of course, she's looking to extend that championship lead. Let's have a look at the highlights on this one. And crucially, the very start here between Rafalik and Flusha. Now, Flusha gets a good getaway. It's completely line astern, but Rafalik here running wide at the exit of turn number 2 just allows Flusha to go down the inside, carries the speed on the outside there. No contact made between the two of them, just carried that fraction too much speed in towards turn number 2. So easily done. As it does go uphill, it feels like you can carry a lot more speed into the corner and try and scrub it off, but it just didn't go his way. He would tumble down to 2nd place, but would certainly hold on to it, finishing still in P2. The battle behind, though, certainly raged on in the early stages. Philippe Carras getting past Hugo head-on. Head-on would later fight back, though. They would chop and change throughout all of it. It would bring in the likes of Jean Carras. You would get Ghazi Motlaka, George Nassar, all close in. Mohamed Benemni as well was also a driver who certainly capitalized in that qualifying heat. 14 places gained for Mohamed Benemni and has a brilliant end to his first race. There was Cole Hewitson. He was the first retirement of the race. Then there you see Marcus Shilkunis out of the race, the pole sitter from yesterday. Both final qualifying heat winner from yesterday as well, out of his first qualifying heat today. And there as well, Elizaveta Kozlova suffering a moment. Here was a scary moment there, up onto 2 wheels, down the inside in towards turn 12 for Philippe Carras, trying to get past Maximum Rafalik. That didn't work in his favor. That brought everyone back into play once again. Hugo Heron right there. This was Ghazi Motlaka sending it down the inside of Jean Carras, but then he just opens up the door there, gives the green light to Jean Carras, just put that car down the inside and just squeezes Ghazi Motlaka there off the circuit and nearly into the wall. That is what allowed the likes of Mohamed Benemni to break through. George Nassar would try and get involved here as they went 3 wide on the exit of turn number 5. But all the meanwhile, Luna Flusha was extending her lead in the race. Takes her first win of the weekend, clear by 5.3 seconds from Maximilian Rafalik and Philippe Carras. Well, that ends the first rotation of qualifying heats. Qualifying heat 2 will be coming up later on for junior, mini and senior in around 40 minutes time. That'll be starting at 1 o'clock. So we will take a short break. Do not go anywhere though. We'll be back for the second half of the day in a few moments time. ladies and gentlemen, to the Champions of the Future Academy program, live here from Dubai at the Dubai Kartodrome. It's the Champions of the Future round 4, and here's a look at the track that we're racing on this weekend. Year of opening 2004 for the Kartodrome. Event record set in time qualifying this weekend by Marcus Schilkunas with a 54.003. The circuit itself, though, an absolutely fabulous layout. It's 1,204 meters, 171 meters down the start-finish straight. It's 108 meters down the back straight. Track width is around 7 to 8 meters wide. It changes through some of the up and downhill sections, and with those up and downhill sections, 5 meters of elevation change as you go up and over and under the bridge here at the Dubai circuit. In terms of turns, 17 of them out along this 1.2 kilometer long track. 8 turns to the right, 9 to the left, and the 4 hairpins out there as well. Organise a fabulous array of corners that promote lots of overtaking. You see overtakes in towards turns 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 and 7. You see them into turns 9, 12, 13 and 17 out on track. And not only do you see multiple overtakes, you see incredibly high speeds as well. Despite the fact that the temperature is very high, the engines do struggle, we still top out at speeds at 112 kilometers an hour in towards turn number 1. Drivers average around 80 kilometers an hour around the 1.2 kilometer long circuit. But certainly throughout this weekend, it has provided some very, very close racing. And for the junior category, which is the next race that is coming up next, their last race they had today was certainly a very exciting one. Toby Gail taking the win in that one, but just by 0.07 of a second from Connor Clancy, who was right on that rear bumper as they went over the start-finish line. It was same as well for James Anagnostianis. He finished 3rd place, incredibly close on track. The same for Oscar Gallin, Kasper Reipold, and Maxim Bobajov. They were all there. The top 6 separated by 0.7 of a second across the line. It was an incredibly close fight, and something tells me it's going to be even closer going into this next race. It is OKN Junior qualifying Heat 2. 9 laps, 11-kilometer race distance ahead of the drivers here as well. Again, the temperature continues to rise here in Dubai. Now running at around 36 degrees out there. It's very, very warm. These drivers will have a lot of work ahead of them there. As you can see, Toby Gail putting on his gloves. Looks like he is blister-free for the time being. So many drivers struggling out there with the temperature, the hands sweating, and when they get the gloves on, the blisters come out. But I'm being told on the top here that some people are finding it a bit chilly out there, but I'm sure it isn't. I'm sure it's quite warm indeed out on track. But as you can see, everyone primed and ready for this one, including this man here, Connor Clancy, starting it on the front row of the grid, primed and ready. Was, well, millimeters away from starting these races on pole position. And when I say millimeters, I mean millimeters in terms of track limits. Unfortunately for him, he got caught out with those penalties in time qualifying, lost out on his fastest lap, which put him in P2, but still on that front row. There is Oscar Gallin, and again, very great stuff from Oscar Gallin so far this weekend. 4th in the race earlier on. Like I say, starts it on the 3rd row of the grid. There, some of the hard-working marshals here at the Dubai Kartodrome who have been delivering some brilliant action out there, keeping the drivers nice and safe, working hard, keeping the track clear, green and racing, so we can always go racing. So again, we do take our hats off to the hard-working marshalling team here in Dubai, and thumbs up from them as well. They're ready, they're excited for some racing ahead of us here this evening in Dubai. Local time here in Dubai, we're just approaching 1 o'clock. And that time, of course, is the start time for the next race. OKN Junior heading out onto the track in a few moments' time. Toby Gail starting today well then. He started yesterday well also. Pole in time qualifying, took a qualifying heat win in that one. He then struck out in qualifying heat 2, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on because the engines will fire up. Let's take you through that full starting lineup. It's Toby Gail and Connor Clancy on row number 1. Oscar Gallen and Leonidas Peruzzi go from row number 2. Maxim Bobrojov and James Anagnostiidis go from row number 3. They'll have Kasper Reipold and Xavier Dudkowski on row number 4. Matis Vitva and William Marshall go from row 5. They'll have Mitansh Jain and Veer Chopra on row 6. Nicholas Stanley and Ella Hakkinen will round out row number 7. Didier Klieft and Angelina Simmons start on row 8. Victoria Farfus and Dinia Islamov go from row 9. Axel Nocom and Vanessa Shilkanate round out the top 20 on row 10. Zachariah Dole and Flavio Carrier go from row 11. They'll have Egon Pedrotti and Emilia Veshamierska on row 12. They'll have Sanjana Dandu and Villa Yuland on row 13. Sujana Dandu and Marcel Capello round out row number 14. And the final row of the grid will be Ian Singh and Kareen Kaur. Row 16 is not out on track. Eda Pizzuto and Isaac Say not racing at this point of the weekend. A fair few drivers very late from leaving the dummy grid there. You saw, I think, one driver stalling, and because it's quite narrow on the exit there, if you can't get another cut past, then it causes a concertina effect, and as soon as one cut stalls and blocks the way, every other cut that tries to close in behind also stalls, and you get a little bit of drama there. So hopefully everyone's got away well, and for one driver who hasn't got away well is Matej Vitva. And he is stuck in the Parc Ferme area there, so that's not the pre-grid. Looks like he's gone out on track and come back in now, so that's very interesting because he did go out on track, and there you can see, I don't think we'll be going for a formation lap on this time around, as there across the line is Sanjana Dandu, who's only just crossing the start-finish line now, while the front runners are coming into the final corner now to start their race. The field is massively, massively spread out right now. And that is all down to clearly one kart just stalling out of the pre-grid there. So this is not going to be an easy one to get started with. There's the rest of the field. They're going across the line now. Yes, it is a false start. What they need to do now is, well, I know they want to try and keep temperature in the tyres. I know they want to keep the speed up. They really do need to try and slow it down sooner rather than later here, because they might get another go-around if the back of the field is just not formed up in time. And again, there's still a smattering of drivers that are still crossing over the start-finish line now. Some fair few corners behind from the rest of the field here, as you can see the false start flags out in force on circuit. So it looks like Matej Vitva has not gone out on track, so maybe Gremlin, yeah, there he is. He's still there in Parc Ferme, as I call it. And there you can see some of our technical crew there. Darren Clark and Patricia there as well, working hard, keeping an eye on everything that happens technical-wise in Parc Ferme. Making sure that anything that happens to his kart is legal. Matej Vitva, what has been the cause of this? Is it a spark plug that they're changing there? It's a common thing to change very quickly on these karts, but clearly something is amiss on his wagon. He's not going to get the green flag at the start of this one, as the rest of the field looks like they're lined up ready to go here for a race start. We've got the majority of the grid there now. It looks good. Are we going green then? And could it be Toby Gail getting a double win this weekend in the qualifying heats with green and racing down in towards turn number 1? It's again a good start for Gail. Does he run out wide? Does he open up the door for an attack down the inside at turn number 3? The answer to that is no, but there's a rotation in the top section, and there's karts everywhere over the bridge, and multiple drivers are out of this race, not including Maxim Bobrojov, but as well the 33 is out of this race. That's Zachariah Dole. You've got Bobrojov, you've got Xavier Dudkowski's there as well. Veer Chopra's involved, Axel Nocom, Zachariah Dole, as we called it out, Sujana Dandu is involved, and Kareen Kaur is also involved. Slow procedure has come out. The race has been neutralized, and hopefully the front runners do see that sooner rather than later. Yep, hands gone up in the air, and Toby Gail now gets the message that the race has been neutralized and slows the field down through the final chicane, as the, well, pack of drivers now that have accumulated at turn number 3 in the second half of their qualifying heats phase. That is an almighty amount of drivers that we have lost on this opening lap. And I'm not sure how that unfolded there. There was one driver, I think, who just got lifted up at the back, and there you can still see some karts stricken in the middle of the circuit. So drivers having to avoid that. But, well, 30 karts that started this. We're down to just 22 runners now in this race. Bobajov is out, Didkovsky is out, Mateusz Witwer is out. Chopra, Nocom, Delay, Sujana Dandu, Karine Kaur, all out of this race. And of course, the two non-starters, Pizzuto and Isaac Say. So down to just 22 runners in this race as slow procedure is out. Now, Toby Gail needs to be careful here because this was the exact same situation he was in yesterday. Slow procedure coming out. The race had restarted, but he bolted too soon. He hit that accelerator pedal. That penalty came out, and he finished 9th in that second race. So how did this unfold? A spin there. Right, okay, so Bobajov caught the rear bumper there of the 41 of Xavier Didkovsky. That was the first initial spin. And then I think it was just from there, a concertina effect. Everyone else just closed in behind and blink before you realised half the grid is out of this race. So down to just 22 runners now, as we're still under slow procedure here at the Dubai Kartodrome. On to lap number 3 we go of this race. The timer still does keep going down, so every lap we are under the yellow procedure. The lap count does keep going. This is Mateusz Witwer at the start of this race before the race even got away. You can see mechanic saying, I need something, and well, not getting to start that race, but he was around that area where he could have been involved in that incident because he was right next to the likes of Maxim Bobajov and Xavier Didkovsky. So Witwer may have just avoided getting any damage to his kart and losing out anything in that race. So there's a silver lining. Could probably take that, but like you say, still out of this race. So on to lap number 4 then of 9. Still under slow procedure. There you can see the huge car park, or kart park as I should call it. There are the exits and the large pack of drivers just watching from the sidelines there. But while we wait for that green flag to come out, there's a look at some of the previous race winners here from the last 6 races, the finals that we've had. Kasper Reipold, Ella Hakkinen winning in Cremona, and Ignatiadis and Gale winning in Valencia. Then it was Mateusz Witwer, who we've just seen, of course, retiring from this one, who won there. And then Maxim Bobajov taking the win yesterday in the juniors as he stepped up from the mini category and starting it very strongly. Today, though, has not gone his way. Of course, out in this qualifying heat. So flag still waving. Makes me feel like we are going around once more. We're not green and racing just yet. No, it's another lap under the full course yellow. So Marshall's needing a little bit of longer time here to get the track cleared and safe to go racing. So we go on to lap 5 now of 9. This is going to be an almighty sprint to the end then for the field. And again, Toby Gail needs to be careful. He got caught out with a 5-second time penalty for effectively kind of jumping the restart effectively yesterday, which dropped him down to 9th place. He's in the same situation now. He's got to wait a little bit later down the start-finish straight to go for it, but he started accelerating a little bit too soon yesterday, so hopefully he's learnt his lesson from that. He doesn't want to get caught out with that penalty, and catching up with him this morning after time qualifying, he did say he learnt his lesson from that, and he made sure that he didn't do it again. So hopefully this time all good. Right, now are those flags now static? I think they are. So temperature now getting put back into these tyres. Looks like we could be going green and racing at the end of this lap. I'll confirm that when I next see a yellow flag. And yes, I can see it is stationary there. He's holding it at the bottom. So it looks like we're ready to go racing then Wait for it this time, Toby. You got the penalty yesterday. Don't get it today as we go. Green flag and racing. We are underway once more. And Gail holds off the field. Clancy there in second place, but they're all bunched up. It's like we've not even started the race just yet, but we've already lost 10 karts from this race. In through turn number 3. This is where it all unfolded earlier on in the race, but this time around, everyone gets through cleanly, and it's still Gail who leads the way. There you can see Leonidas Peruzzi is getting caught out by the pack behind as the two in front start to break away here. Gail and Clancy, 1-2, have broken away as they go for this 4-lap sprint. Gail's going to go defensive earlier on here in towards turn number 9. He's not going to wait around and wait for Clancy to just send it instantly down the inside. So that will bring back the likes of Oscar Gallen, who's still there in third place. Anagnosiadis is there in fourth. Peruzzi's there in P5 from Marshall. Jane, then it's Stanley, Simmons from Sig, and there is the move down the inside. Clancy sends it through at turn number 14 and takes the lead of this race, going on to lap 7 now of it. But Gail's not going to give this one up. Like I say, he got caught out yesterday. He does not want to get caught out today in this second qualifying heat. He will fight to the end, as Mitesh Jain is seeing an investigation flag. The same flag is going out to another in the 57 as well. So Mitesh Jain seeing that. And the 53 also under investigation. That is Nicholas Stanley, so possibly for the restart or maybe even for track limits. Didier Krief, you saw there very briefly, another name cropping up on the list, as well as another one, 56, also seeing a warning, an investigation flag. So, well, multiple drivers being watched at then in their second half of the race. But we keep an eye on this lead here, and Clancy now looking like he's got this one in control. He lost out on pole position this morning because of track limits. So again, he can push hard in this one, and he needs to be careful. There is Leonidas Peruzzi pushing his way through as, oh dear me, Nicholas Stanley under pressure from Mitesh Jain just behind, trying to close in. So again, drivers pushing their way forward in this early stages. Biggest mover, Ardian Singh again. We called it out earlier on, the driver from South Africa, now up 21 places in this race for Ardian Singh. Currently running in P8 behind Oscar Gallen. So Gallen having a very strong performance in this one, as we are on lap 8 at the moment. Last lap board will be out this time. Well, let's see what happens here as across the line they go. Clancy leads the way from Gail in second place as we go on to the last lap of this race. And Anagnosiadis still there in third place, is trying to close in, but I think he's going to have to settle for P3 here unless he gets caught by any drama behind from Leonidas Peruzzi, who's there in P4. Marshall still there in P5 from Stanley. Oscar Gallen in 7th. Raipol just behind Ardian Singh. Back to 9th place, but he's still up 20 places, so no drama there as we look at some of the stats there between these two drivers. One up, one down for both of them. Clancy up from 2nd, Gail down from 1st at the end of this one, but this is still good for Toby Gail and for Conor Clancy because, well, with Gail effectively out-qualifying Conor Clancy, the two of them would be joint on intermediate classification points at the end of that one, but because he out-qualified him, he will take that pole position. Out of the final corner then they go, and it will be Conor Clancy taking his first win across the line, seeing the checker flag. Toby Gail finishing in 2nd place ahead of James Anagnosiadis in 3rd. He managed to hold on to that P3 ahead of Leonidas Peruzzi. Marshall finishing in P5 ahead of Nicholas Stanley. Nicholas Stanley, though, under investigation, as well as 3 other drivers also under investigation at the end of that race. So they do need to be careful. Gallen finishing in 7th place ahead of Raipol. Didier Krief and Ardian Singh rounding out the top 10. 19 positions gained at the end of that race, but still a very, very strong performance for the driver from South Africa, who's looking to start a little bit higher up in that race later on today. The junior final will be the next race coming out today. That'll be kick-starting at 3 o'clock local time. There, though, the results. We've gone over the top 10 Mitash Jain finishing in 11th place from Angelina Simmons, Vanessa Shilkanek from Ella Hakkinen, Egon Pedrotti rounding out the top 15. Dinia Islamov from Victoria Farfus, Sanjana Dandu from Marcelo Capella, Amelia Vetroviska, Flavio Caria and Vera Jurland rounding out the 22 finishers in that race. The retirements: Maxim Bobrozov, Xavier Dukovsky, Matej Vitva, Veer Chopra, Axel Nocom, Zachariah Dole, Sujana Dandu and Karine Kaur all retiring from their second qualifying heat. Well, that will certainly shake up the order going into that final later on today. But there on your screen, Conor Clancy matching the results then between himself and Toby Gail over the course of today. That means it then falls down to time qualifying. That means that Gail will still be the driver out on top. There was Matej Vitva at the start, not even getting to start the race. Race getaway here for Gail, absolutely fine. Broke away with Clancy. The drama would start from the, well, effectively the 4th row of the grid. Watches down the inside, you see the 61 of Bobrozov go for the move. He gets away, he gets a little tap from behind, to be fair to him. He gets a little tap from behind there, which I think puts him in the side of Xavier Dukovsky, but I'm not sure of the kart that made the initial bump, because you just see his head go backwards before then that moment. That brought out the slow procedure. That was out for a very long time actually there, with so many karts, the marshals needing a bit of time to get the track cleaned up and sorted out. But green flag would come back out. Gail would hold on to the lead on this one, but with the pack so close and the race nearing the end, tensions were high and drivers wanting to get those moves done thick and fast. There was Anagnosiadis sending it down the inside of Oscar Gallin for 3rd place. That would drop Gallin down to P7 at the end of that one. There was the change for the lead. Clancy getting through at turn number 14. And unfortunately for Gail, was unable to retaliate on that one. There was Nicholas Stanley just getting the overtake done as well, but just pushing his way through. But one of these drivers right now just having to deal with so much traffic in that late stage of the race purely because of the slow procedure. But across the line, it would go the way of Conor Clancy, taking the win ahead of Toby Gail, James Anagnosiadis, Leonidas Peruzzi and William Marshall rounding out the top 5. Well, as you can imagine, there's going to be a lengthy cleanup operation happening out on circuit. But we'll take a short break, and in that break, we'll catch up with, well, a well-known driver in the world of Formula Racing, FIA Formula 2 driver Isaac Hadjar, who's coaching this weekend. We caught up with him in between the qualifying heats. Well, we're here in the Dubai Kartodrome for the Champions of the Future Academy Programme Round 4, and I'm joined by Isaac Hadjar, one of the FIA Formula 2 drivers in this year's season. Isaac, you join us here. Thank you so much for agreeing to interview us here. You're coaching this weekend, something that you've had done to you in the past in your karting career, but now you're doing it yourself. Firstly, how's the weekend going for you? Because it's very hot here in Dubai.
It's tricky, to be honest. We manage as best as we can. Yeah, it's really warm, but especially for the drivers. I guess they're really struggling physically. It's a tough track as well. But yeah, definitely a real challenge for them.
Yeah. This season, obviously, you've not seen much of it. You're joining us here for the first time this weekend. What have you made of it so far? It's obviously a double header. They had a full day yesterday. It's a completely new day today. What are you making of the championship?
Yeah, I'm really new to it. I didn't know much about it, but it's I just think it's really a fair championship, you know. Everyone gets the same material, engine gets swapped, limited amount of tires, so it's really about skills. And yeah, I like the format.
Yeah. Like you say, it's been a tough weekend. It's demanding on the drivers, and you've seen first and foremost what it's like to race in conditions such as this. But how are your drivers dealing with it? Because of course it's a super challenge out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really tough at the moment. It's I think it's the longest track I've seen. I mean, there's a lot of corners, a lot of curbs, grip is high, and yeah, with this temperature, it's a really difficult challenge.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your karting years because, of course, you now race in Formula 2. You're looking to step up in towards Formula 1, of course. But back in the grassroots of your racing, tell us the best moments for you. What was the real highlight?
I mean, they are my best memories for sure, go-kart years. It's been a while, actually. I feel like it's from a different life, you know?
Yeah.
It seems quite far. But actually going here, I'm actually quite missing it, you know. I miss the go-kart days, and yeah, I would say my highlight was really my first European season.
Yeah.
I would say not in terms of performance, but just seeing what was the high level like, you know, going out of France and stepping up with the big boys. It was clearly really difficult, but really interesting, and it made me grow as well.
Yeah. Well, this weekend, like you say, it's super hot. It's demanding for everyone. You've got a busy day ahead of you. You've got lots more racing to get on with. But thank you so much for joining us. And best of luck for the rest of your season as well, because you head to Qatar next, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's in Lusail, Qatar. So, yeah, thank you very much, man.
Excellent. Well done. Well, great to chat there to Isaac Hadjar joining us this weekend, coaching some of the senior drivers out there, and we will see those senior drivers out a little bit later on as there we can see the Mini 60s getting themselves ready for their next qualifying heat. And again, for them earlier on, qualifying heat 1 was an interesting one, and for many of them, well, gaining good positions, for some, dropping down the order a little bit, but for Nicolo Perico, it was a flag to flag, the Italian who put it on pole in timed qualifying, looking much stronger today. And again, starts this one on the front row of the grid. Marc-Martin Lometz will be starting alongside for this one. Lometz, though, coming away with a 5-second time penalty at the end of that first race, dropping him down to 9th place at the end of that one. And again, it seems to be that old Achilles heel of track limits out there. So that is the biggest thing they've got to take away from this one. But there you can see the drivers seated, ready to go here. We're moments away from starting this qualifying heat. And like you say, for Perico, just needs to keep his head down, focus now, and see if he can start that final on pole position. But he's certainly got a really, really strong performance underneath him. The same as Albert Tam. Now, Albert Tam stayed in second place. Now, they were line astern for the majority of that qualifying heat earlier on. But like I say, we'll talk about that a little bit later on as the field starts up. Let's take you through that full starting lineup. It's Nicolo Perico and Marc Lometz on row number 1. Albert Tam and Oscar Singh on row 2. Bruno Priam and Benjamin Karajkovic on row 3. They'll have Aaron Mason and Ava Lawrence on row 4. Nikita Janilov and Juan Gaziate on row 5. They'll have Danik Rivera and Giovanni Desani Jr. on row 6. Francesco Lesignoli on row 7. They'll have Augustine Felagoni alongside Lorenzo Zucchetto. And Achilles Peruzzi will go from row number 8. Sebastian Kurz and Theodore Constantinou go from row 9. They'll have Atika Mir and Jan Gardzielik on row 10. Baptiste Augustine and Min Jae Kim go from row number 11. Daniela Verba and Maddox Mason go from row 12. They'll have Matis Barjot and Lena Salamanca on row 13. Saif Al-Obadli and Guido Elbageni round out row number 14. They'll have Koda Singh and Suleiman Mucho on row 15. Davide Di Filippo and Dayoud Sanfari round out the 32-kart field. And now all drivers out on circuit. Well, there's a lot of drivers who have not come across a timing beam just yet. And one of those, Constantinou, no, he has just now. Daniela Verba still showing not crossing a timing beam. Matis Barjot is another. Suleiman Mucho and Dayoud Sanfari all showing up on my screen that they have not crossed a timing beam just yet. And well, now it goes down to 3. So just Verba, Mucho and Sanfari who were yet to cross, and now they've all crossed the line. Everyone's out there, so all 32 karts are out on circuit and clocking up, which is good to see. And, like you say, drivers getting that extra lap to get everything sorted out, temperature up, and to get everyone formed up as well. So it was a bit of a shaky getaway there. Some drivers not having a good run, and I think actually Daniela Verba is a driver who's also having troubles out there because he's not clocking up on my screen, actually. He says he's out on track, but he's not gone through a sector. Okay, now he's gone through sector 2. So I think he may have missed the timing beam there for sector 1. Because he's clocking up very randomly right now on my screen. So hopefully all is okay. Moments away from starting. There you can see temperatures very much rising here. 36 degrees, and everyone doing their level best to try and keep cool. But it is very, very hot here at the Dubai Kartodrome, and these drivers have certainly got to get to the end of this one. This is more of an endurance for the field here. To finish first you have to finish, and well, there's a driver who certainly might not be finishing this race. The 866 of Daniela Verber, who we said had missed one of the sector zones, now is going to miss the start of this race. Now, because he's tumbled to the back of the field, and there he, well, okay, well, he's right at the front here. He's going to block the field here going into the tram lines. Now, they might send them round again here, and I think they're most likely going to go round again. They are. It is a false start, and, well, Daniela Verber there, who had a spin, put himself right in the middle of that one there. At, well, where is Daniela Verber supposed to be starting? 23rd out on track, which is row 12. Alongside Maddox Mason from South Africa. But right now, he's just struggling to find himself back in that spot. These race starts are not easy. Rolling starts for the Academy program. Of course, the Mini 60 here is drivers starting from ages of 8 years of age. Very young drivers in the start of their karting careers. And for right now, just delivering what they can. You learn so much in your cadet years that you bring forward into the juniors, and we've seen that in the juniors. Maxim Bobajov, who, again, granted, didn't have a great race on that last one, but won the final yesterday, did Bobajov in his first weekend, stepping up into the junior category after racing in this very class in Europe, in Cremona, Valencia, and Franciacorta. Now, as we head to the Middle East, we start the second half of the season here in Dubai. We head to Alain next, and then Alpha San at the end of the season. 3 very different tracks here in the United Arab Emirates, so really showing our drivers a true test of skill and determination this season. Looks like we're ready to go this time around. Drivers are formed up at the front. It's Niccolo Perico and Mark Lumetz on the front row of the grid. Are we racing? Yes, we are. Down in towards turn number 1. It's another carbon copy for the front rows. Perico and Tam get through into the race lead and second place. Drivers getting squeezed out wide on the outside. There's a bit of a concertina effect, and drivers up and nearly rolling there onto the bridge section. There is the 8, I think that's 62, that's not going anymore. That stopped on track, but we'll find out when it goes through. It is confirmed, the 862 that goes no further in this race. That's Karajkovic, who's out of this one. I think Aaron Mason got caught out. Ava Lawrence also got caught out as well, but Mason's got going. Lawrence has got going again. Lorenzo Zucchetto also got caught out, but he's got going again. The only car that's still going slowly is Benjamin Karajkovic, and I believe he's going to be out of this race. But so many more drivers they're getting caught out. That's a hefty bit of damage to the front of that kart. So that's not what you want to see at all. Back with the front runners, though, over the start-finish line, and it is Perico from Tam, 1-2. Mark Lumetz is there in 3rd place. Bruno is there in 4th. Singh in 5th place. Janilov still in P5. He's up 3 places. Achilles Peruzzi has had a brilliant start here. 9 places gained, is into P7. Has got Giovanni Desani Jr. Felagoni from Nanak Rivera. Min Jae Kim has had a brilliant start. The South Korean driver, 11 places up from P22, is just outside the top 10 in P11. So keep a close eye on Min Jae Kim in this one. And good runs in this. But at the front here, well, this is a stark difference to what we saw earlier on. We only saw Perico and Tam 1-2 in the first qualifying heat. Now they've got Mark Lumetz right there just behind, trying to close in. Now Tam's gained the 1 position here. Niccolo Perico still holding on to his front row start here of pole position. But he's got a lot of work to do ahead of him here as we go on to lap 3 now of 7. And 2's company, 3's a crowd as out of the race and tumbling down. That's Suleiman Mucho, unfortunately, the 859 who's had a spin out on circuit. But he's got the kart restarted and he continues on in this race. Pelagoni now with the fastest lap of the race, 101.865. Looking strong for the time being. But, we'll keep a close eye on this one as the field again heads through the tunnel, up the bridge and up the hill. It's a tense moment here as, oh, there's more drama. There's more drama on circuit, and there is Atika Mir going no further in this race. And she's had a bit of drama out there, and I think maybe involved with others. Well, they're pulling into the pit lane is the likes of Benjamin Karajkovic. He's out of this one. He's brought it back in. So more drivers out of this second qualifying heat. And for Atika Mir, who had a brilliant day yesterday in her first appearance in the Academy programme, now struggling on day 2 here. Sunshine of Dubai. Eyes on this then. Now becoming a group of 4. 2's company, 3's a crowd, 4 is just far too many drivers fighting for a front lead battle, and it's actually looking like it could be 5 here as Nikita Janilov, the driver who dominated yesterday, is closing in, and there in the pit lane has come Suleiman Mucho. He's also retired from this race, the driver from Morocco going no further. Eyes on this though, and still no change between these top runners. Well, we've seen Lumets get past Tam. That's the only change we've seen so far. Tam there down into 3rd place now as he's trying to take that one back as, well, Lumets now wants to have a go, but judging by that, he's not got the straight line speed there. That exit out of the final corner's not worked well, and Tam is going to instantly fight back. He thinks, right, you took that P2 away from me, fair play, but you just hadn't got the speed there to close in and get past Perico, and now you've opened up a gap between the 2 of them, and now Bruno Priam has closed in, now Nikita Danilov has closed in, Peruzzi's there as well, and Dezani is there also. So again, the whole field's closed up now because of that one overtake. We love to see close racing here, but I'm sure Albert Tam was not a fan of that overtake happening because now he's got a lot of work ahead of him to try and close that gap back up. And a whole train of karts just behind, ready to pick up any pieces that come from this. We're on lap 5 at the moment. We're going on to lap 6 at the end of this one. Race distance slowly decreasing over the start-finish line. It is still Perico, Tam, Lumets, Priam, then it's Janilov, Peruzzi, Dezani from Singh, Felagoni from Rivera, Garcia from Kim, Gardzielik looking strong and under investigation now is Daniela Verba. So Verba will have to be careful here, and that might be for the start of the race, but again, that is purely speculation, so don't take my words for it. There's a look at the race results for Nicolo Perico so far this season in the finals. So yet to take a final win. Best results in the first phase in Europe was a P3 in the final, DNF'd in both finals in Valencia. Then here in Dubai in the start of the Middle East phase of the season, came away with his best results, P2 in yesterday's final. Today, leading everything so far, the Italian is looking to see if he can claim his first final win of the season. But at the end of this race, we will have to find out what happens later on as we go on to the final lap of the last qualifying heat of the weekend for Mini 60. And right now, Perico holds on to it, but Albert Tam didn't take the position last time around. This time around, it might be a different story, knowing the fact that he's got Lumets for company just behind, who's already got past at one point of this race. He does not want him to get past at another point. So if he goes to the attack, the only question is, where will it happen? Well, Perico's not going to go defensive at all so far in this one. Perico's going to hold on to it right now. Tam just stays behind. Lumet's still there. Has drama unfolding, I think, in this one, as I think some drivers just being caught out in the back of the field. But here at the front, Perico, Tam and Lumet, 1, 2, 3 to the start-finish line. There'll be no changes, and Nicolo Perico will dominate today in the qualifying heats. It's pole in qualifying heat 1 and 2, 2 wins, and he starts that final on pole position. Later on today, Nicolo Perico for Italy is dominating on Sunday here in Dubai. Albert Tam finishing in second place ahead of Mark Lumetz. Achilles Peruzzi finishing in P4 ahead of Bruno Priam. Giovanni Desani Jr. finishing in P6, 6 places gained. Peruzzi's race there, absolutely fantastic. 12 places gained to finish in P4. Oscar Singh finishing in P7 ahead of Felagoni, who gained 6 places in that race ahead of Danik Rivera. Nikita Janilov rounds out the top 10 at the end of that one, unfortunately losing out on a couple of places. Not able to stay within those top runners. Juan Garfiase finishing in P11. Min Jae Kim, 10 places gained, finishes in P12 ahead of Baptiste Augustin. Jan Gardzielek from Matis Brajot, all gainers of places there. 10, 8, 6 and 10 places apiece for them, rounding out the top 15. Lesignoni from Ebekeni, Kursk from Constantino, Mason from Di Filippo, Mason from Singh, and it is Daniela Berber from Ava Lawrence, Al Abadli from Zucchetto, Salamanca from Zanfari, who round out the 29 finishers. The retirements in that race, 3 of them, Atika Mir, Benjamin Karajkovic and Suleiman Mucho, unfortunately all out of the race. But there on your screen, Nicolo Perico claiming his 2nd win of the weekend and looking to start on pole position for that final later on today. Here's some of the highlights from that one, and well, for the race start for the majority of the field, all fine and clean. It'll only be later on in the race where some drivers would get caught out here at turn number 3. And some drivers just getting involved there, and unfortunately for Karajkovic and Keith-Mir and Mucho, I think they all got caught out at the start of that one. And there you can see Benjamin Karajkovic unfortunately just not going any further. The driver who started on the 3rd row of the grid tumbling down the order. Then you saw the spin there from Suleiman Mucho. He would later retire from the race. Clearly something broken on the kart, and just feeling like that kart was not going to make it to the end. Lap number 5, Albert Tam retaking back 2nd place after Lumetz got the jump on him. Final lap time, and that'll still happen there thick and fast, but the top 3 able to break away. And for Nicolo Perico, claims maximum points, looks to start that final later on today in the mini category on pole position. A much stronger start to the day for him compared to yesterday. Well, that's 2 races down in the second half of the qualifying heats phase. 1 more race to go. The senior category will be heading out onto the track in a few moments' time. But in between the races, again, we like to catch up with many more drivers, and we caught up with Mercedes young junior driver James Anagnostiidis. Here's what he had to say in between his qualifying heats. Well, we're here for the Champions of the Future Academy program for round 4 in Dubai, and I'm joined by James Anagnostiidis, one of the drivers racing in the junior category. And James, you've had quite a series of races with the Academy program. It certainly has helped you out. It all started when you joined us at the inaugural round in Al Fassan in Abu Dhabi last year. At the end of that weekend, that signing with Mercedes came your way. Tell us, how has the journey been from that first round to where we are now?
Yeah, well, a big change, a very big change to what my program was last year. Yeah, just mainly the competition difference and the amount of races. Like every weekend being in a go-kart, was in Australia, maybe I'd have like 2 weeks between every race, and been very flat out over here. And yeah, probably if I didn't go to that, the race in Al Fassan, I would have never had the opportunity I have now. And yeah, it was big change in my career path.
Yeah. because you were racing so much in Australia. You had all your races you were battling away with there. Now you've stepped over into the Europe scene. You've raced, of course, in multiple events in Europe now and in the UK, and now coming here to the UAE. That really has changed your kind of style of driving, hasn't it? Because it's such a different sort of category.
Yeah, well, in Australia, there's the tires are different, the engine's different. I'd say not that the competition's not as hard, there's just less competition. And so over here, you miss 1/10 and you 10 positions back.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've just really had to work on making no errors, making the right decisions in racing, and just the competition level over here is, very strong.
Yeah. Let's talk about the hard work that you've put in to karting in this one as well. Like you say, from racing in Australia, then Alpha San, racing around Europe. You then went to the Worlds at PFI in the FIA events, and you came away with a podium on there. Did you ever expect that was coming your way, being on the podium at the World Finals?
No, definitely not. Like last year, I was watching it on TV, and I thought it would be great if I could just get an opportunity to race one of the European rounds, and then to be standing on the podium at the World Championship is, pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it's all stemmed from literally racing in Alpha San, and from there it's kind of just exploded for you in racing, hasn't it? And where do you see yourself next year? Is it, again, just jumping in, maybe seniors, sticking with juniors? Where is it going?
Yeah, I'll definitely be going seniors next year. I'm not sure what I'll be racing yet, but we'll see probably by the end of this year.
Yeah. Well, the way your karting trajectory is going, it's going upwards, and we do wish you the best of luck in that one. And best of luck for the rest of this weekend here in Dubai. So we'll see what you can do.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, great to chat there to James Anagnosiadis, one of the junior drivers who was racing out earlier on this afternoon. That's still good results for him. OKN Senior, though, is coming up next. And as you can see, carts already out on circuit for their formation laps. It's qualifying heat 2. 12-lap race is upon the drivers. Let's quickly fire through that starting lineup. Maximilian Falik and Luna Flusha starting on row number 1. They'll have Philippe Carris and Hugo Heron on row 2. Jean Carris and George Nassar round out row 3. They'll have Sebastian Korpeng and Sadamat Soy on row 4. Sky Parker and Marcus Shilkunas go from row 5. Franciszek Zdzielski and Wojciech Woda on row 6. They'll have Alessandro Biggi and Diana Pascal on row 7. Cole Hewitson and Ghazi Motlaka go from row 8. They'll have Yana Kapoor and Adam Sidor on row 9. Mohamed Menemni and Kasper Bonda go from row 10. Isabeta Kozlova and Ella Latama go from row 7. They'll have Sofia Sanfari and Anastasia Gerasis on row 12. Louis Hartman and Jabbar Al-Sabar on row 13. Brix Ravino and Charlotte Page round out the 28 kart field as the drivers make their way around on their formation laps now, where it looks like they'll be going around again here. The back of the field not organised at all. How is the front? Well, the front's organised. Are we going racing? Are we green? No, we're not. It's a false start. They're going around again. So back of the grid not formed up at all there. And so they've just got another lap now to get everything up to temperature. A reminder of the results then from qualifying heat 1. Well, Luna Flusha, after being told to take it steady this weekend, won her first qualifying heat of the weekend and won it by 5.3 seconds. Talk about taking it easy. But Maximilian Falik coming away with a second place after starting on pole position. Still a very strong result, though. Philippe Carris finishing in 3rd place. Hugo Heron and Mohamed Menemni finishing in P5 after gaining 14 positions in his qualifying heat earlier on. He's hoping to achieve the same result in this one. Jean Carris finishing in P6. And Ghazi Motlaka as well, also having a good race. He finished in P7, gaining 9 places. Again, pushing it himself up through the field. He was very impressed with his drive earlier on, but again, just feeling like the chassis just isn't there at the moment. So hopefully he's done a little bit of work to his wagon to see if that kart goes any faster in this one. Right then, field lined up, ready to go. Let's see what happens. Rafalik and Flusha on the front row. We're green and racing, and Flusha is looking much stronger here and claims the lead, but she's gone round. She spins, and Rafalik gets caught out in the incident as well. So the front row gets caught out, and who now leads the way? Could it possibly be the likes of Philippe Carras? It is not Philippe Carras. Is that Jean Carras who leads the way? The treble 2, is he leading the way here? Because if so, that's an absolutely astonishing start. I think it is. Yep, the Frenchman leads the way in the treble 2. And he has just shot forward here. The driver who started P5 now leads the way. Hugo Heron is there in second place. As more drama off the track, down at under the bridge, the 2:32 and the 2:26 going no further. Sofia Sanfari and Prixtravino going no further in this race. And it looks like they've had a bit of a hit to the wall there. Very fast part of the track. We saw big moments there yesterday. And, yellow flag, in fact, slow procedure has come out, so the race has been neutralized. So that incident down at turn number 8 involving Sofia Sanfari and Prixtravino has neutralized the race now, as well, Flusha is also out of the race, and there you can see she's pulled it into Parc Ferme. She will go no further in this one. That is a huge shame and a stark difference to what we saw earlier on. The start of her race there, well, the initial getaway off the line was absolutely superb. Broke away, no drama. But then it was literally just going in to turn 2. And a little bit of contact coming their way. And I'm not sure if it was a turned in on or it was a send down the inside that caused that. Certainly the front row out of contention on this one. So the field then at the end of, well, effectively lap number 3 that we're on. It is Jean Carras who leads the way. Hugo Heron from Sebastian Courpeng. Sada Matsoy is going 4 places, up to P4. Sky Parker is into P5. Sedelsky with 5 places gained is up to P6. Hewitson up 8 places into P7. Wojciech Woda up 4 into 8th place. Gazi Motlaka is up 7 into P9, with Philippe Carras rounding out the top 10. Still just the 3 retirements. As watch a replay here. That's yellow flags coming out. This is where the slow procedure came out, so drivers being told to keep nice and slow. 3 retirements at the moment. Flusha, Sanfari and Prixtravino, the only drivers involved in those first lap incidents, as drivers right now just waiting for those flags to go static. You can see they're still waving. This was the moment down. Oh, dear me. Head straight on into the wall there for Prixtravino and backwards into the wall for Sofia Sanfari. Looked like 2 completely separate incidents there, but just at the same turn on the opening lap. It's a big shame for them, and hopefully those 2 are okay. So firm was still under slow procedure. Right, there is our first static yellow flag. If we see any more of those, that means we are good to go. Green flag and racing. Yes, indeed. That's multiple yellow flags I've seen now that are all static. So it looks like we are ready to go racing then. At the end of this lap, we are on lap 4. Be going on to lap 5 when the green flag comes out. And again, for everyone, there is Sofia Sanfari. It's an unfortunate one for her, going no further in this one. And there, Prixtravino alongside with the marshals. Will have been seen, of course, to make sure they are okay. But that is a fast corner through turn 8, and not a lot of runoff when it pinches into under the tunnel. It's a bit of a challenge. Eyes on the flags then. Green flag waves. We are racing once again in the OKN senior category. And well, straight to on the attack margin here is Hugo Heron. Straight to the inside. The door is slam closed by Jean Carras, who holds on to the race lead on this one. Sebastian Courpeng still there in 3rd place. Has not had any drama from Sada Matsoy, who still holds on to P4 for the time being. Sky Parker still there in P5. This is the highest up she has been in her inaugural weekend for the Champions of the Future Academy program, and in her first weekend in the senior category here. As again, Hugo Heron now on the back foot here, is losing out on time to Jean Carras as he's tried to go for a couple of overtakes here. They've not gone his way. And now Sebastian Courpeng is right on that rear bumper as they head through the final sector there. That was down the inside. I think that was possibly Hewitson on Strzeleski, but definitely overtakes happening in that mid-pack section in around the top 10. It was Strzeleski actually getting past Sky Parker. So Strzeleski now up into P5. Still having good results here as now the train really starting to form. Karas is falling back here. Philippe Karas, I should say. George Nassar getting through. Motlaka getting through. Alessandra Biggie just there as well. Well, there is Luna Fluch's car. She's still with it, of course, in Parc Ferme regulations. It still has to be checked over to make sure it's all good before it leaves Parc Ferme. That's a horrible moment for her after such a commanding win earlier on. It really shakes things up here, and actually it puts Jean Karas in top in the intermediate classifications. It's Karas in the lead now, and the driver starting on pole position. If he stays there, though, in the race lead, because Hugo Heron is only 2 points behind, and oh, blimey, there is the immense damage there to Felix Trevino's kart, and it went head-on into the wall. That's going to be, well, you can see their flat tyres. There's changes here. Is that Sebastian Corpain going for the lead? No, that's Hugo Heron going for the lead there. So Hugo Heron now leads this second qualifying heat, and now Jean Karas is having to defend here. He's instantly on the back foot now. Sebastian Corpain trying to get through. Sana Matsoy is still there as well. She has a chance of gaining good positions here. I mean, she's already done that. She's up 4 places right now into P4 after starting P8. So again, just looking to try and get to the end of this race. She's going to go defensive though here now, as Strzeleski's going to try and fight back. Here we go. Here's action further behind. This is Gazi Motlaka battling away with Sky Parker. Sky Parker slams the door closed there. Does the driver from Wales in the United Kingdom. Sky Parker denies the chance of getting through, and she stays there, but Motlaka now starting to squeeze the way through now. There's the change, though, for P4. Sara Matsoy losing out to Strzeleski on turn number 3, and Matsoy now is on the fight back here. Still in a very strong position, though, up 3 places, but Strzeleski is on the fight back here after a tough day yesterday. Oh dear, I think there's been a moment out on track though, because Gazi Motlaka and Marcus Shilkunas are tumbling down on my list, and there they are. Gazi Motlaka out of this race. The driver from Mozambique, who had a brilliant race earlier on today, gaining 9 places, now lies broken on the sidelines. Marcus Shilkunas was with him at the same point on track. He has tumbled down as well. So maybe the 2 drivers involved in an incident. There is Cole Hewitson having a good race now. He's up 10 places in this race. He was struggling with tyres earlier on, saying it was very slippy. And everything seems to be working for him now. Pushes up now past Sana Matsoy up into P5. Matsoy there, still holding on. It's got a bit of clean air now behind. Guy Parker still there. Menemne as well up into 8th place, and we were speaking about Mohamed Menemne in the first race earlier on. He gained a big chunk of places. He's got 11 places in this race now. Same for Elizaveta Kozlova, 10 places gained in this race, so everyone in the top 11 have all gained positions to be in those places. As more drama here, and tumbling down is that. The 2-1-4, it is Elizaveta Kozlova. Well, just as I was praising her for gaining so many positions in this race, drama strikes, and she tumbles to the back of the field and out of this race. And she'll be starting, well, pretty low down in that final later on, because purely she had the retirement earlier on today, another one today. And there, another driver walking away. Who's that? Is that George Nassar? I think it is. George Nassar out of this race.
Opening lap post 2, warning flag 213, contact on 238.
Well, there we go. Warning flag then going out to the 213, and that is your man who started very high up in this order, your pole sitter, Maximilian Rafalik, who's currently running around in P14, will now have a 5-second in-race time penalty, the same as Philippe Karas, He's also receiving a warning flag, so that's a 5-second time penalty heading his way. He's currently running around in P14 at the moment, 11 places down. Sky Parker sets the fastest lap of the race. There she is in the green and pink helmet coming through. She is closing in on Saramat Soy and is looking to finish here inside the top 6, maybe inside the top 5, as Cole Hewitson is still there as well. There's your front runners. They've spread out now at the beginning of this one. You get on Jean Carras and Sebastian Corpeng. No drama happening between them. But from Zielinski, you've got Houston just there as well. Hewitson, sorry, I should say. From Saramat Soy, Sky Parker. They are line astern. Marcus Shulkunis has seen a warning flag as well. I think we saw him have a moment with Gazi Motlaka, and he's come away with an in-race 5-second time penalty as well, so it goes from bad to worse for the OK senior driver. As we're on the final lap of this race, Hugo Heron, seeing that final lap of the board, teed him up to go for the fastest lap of the race as well, 54.644. And continuing to open up that battle, as I think maybe Cole Hewitson has had drama, because now Sky Parker and Saramat Soy have both got through according to my timing screen. So Cole Hewitson dropping backwards here. But Hugo Heron, the final winner from yesterday, could he claim his second final win of the season? Because he'll be starting on pole position for that final with this race win. It is Hugo Heron for France across the line. He claims a qualifying heat win here. The final winner yesterday, looking strong today on Sunday. While Jean Carras finishes in second place, Sebastian Corpeng in third, Zielinski in P4 ahead of Saramat Soy, Sky Parker rounding out the top 6, Cole Hewitson finishing in P7, from Mohamed Menemni finishing in P8, 11 positions gained. Superb drives in these qualifying heats for Menemni. Pascal finishing in 9th ahead of Alessandro Biggie in 10th place. Wojciech Woda from Philippe Carras. Louis Hartmann finishing in 13th place, 12 places gained ahead of Adam Sidor. Ella Lattama from Finland finishing in 15th place after gaining 7 positions. A very strong result. Maximum Rafalik, the pole sitter, not the race he wanted. Contact with Flusha at the start of that, and then sees a warning flag because of it. And unfortunately, he will drop well down the order here, finishing P16 on track. We'll go even further with that penalty. Jabal Sabah and Kasper Bonda finish in the top 18. Shilkunas finishing in 19th, also with a warning flag as well. Yana Kapoor, Charlotte Page, Anastasia Genesis finishing in 22nd place. Still up 2 positions, though, in that race with the retirements of Elizaveta Kozlova, George Nassar, Gazi Motlaka, Luna Flusha, Sofia Sanfari, and Brix Trevino. Let's have a look at the start of that race, and, well, drama striking early doors for the front row. There, Flusha in the lead, but down the inside, or just clips that rear bumper round, and damage to both Flusha and Maximilian Rafalik, put them out of the race. And wow, that was an almighty jolt there for Maximilian Rafalik. Very lucky to keep going. And then this one here, down in towards the bridge, head on into the barriers for Brix Trevino. Sofia Sanfari going backwards into the wall there. But there, Luna Flusha clearly very frustrated. Just giving up on that one. Slow procedure came out then. We went green flag and racing going on to lap number 5, and Hugo Ron in the early stages nearly with a carbon copy move there of what we saw for the original race start between the front 2 rows. But no such drama would unfold between those two until later on. Ron would go for the overtake down the inside in towards turn 3 on lap 7. And he would go on to take the race win in that one. No drama for him, and starting on pole for that final later on. Sky Parker having to defend from Gazi Motlaka, but down the inside would go Philippe Carras as well, trying to push their way through. Sky Parker would retaliate, though, because later on Gazi Motlaka would get caught out in a moment with Marco Shilkunas. There it is. And Gazi Motlaka out of the race. Shilkunas kept going, but a 5-second time penalty via a warning flag would go to Marcus Shilkunas. There, another retirement in the latter stages. Elizaveta Kozlova, who was gaining positions left, right and centre out of the race, and George Nassar involved as well, also out of the race. But across the line, well, Hugo Heron from France claimed his first final win yesterday, and now today he will start that final on pole position. We'll have to wait and see what happens there, as now we head into the lunch break. We'll probably take about an hour's break now before the finals that will be kickstarting at 3 o'clock local time here in Dubai. So make sure you set your alarms. That'll be starting with the junior final, then the minis, then seniors, then all the podiums happening at the end of the day at around 5 o'clock local time. Make sure you don't miss it. But for myself here and Anthony Jordan, for the Champions of the Future Academy Programme, round 4 in Dubai, we'll take a break. We'll be back for the finals in a few moments' time.